Hey guys, this is college football preview, and I will be doing a preview for the Oregon Ducks 2016 season. Some key players for this year will be Darren Carrington at wide receiver, Dakota Prukop at quarterback, Royce Freeman at running back, AJ Hodgkins at linebacker, Arian Springs at corner, and Tarodney Prevo at defensive end. And so, some new coaching hires this year. The Oregon Ducks brought in our former head coach of the Michigan Wolverines, Brady Hoke, and he will be the defensive coordinator installing his new 4-3 defense, and Mark Helfrich demoted Don Pellum. So I think that was a good hire by the Oregon staff. I think that the defense will be a lot better than it was last year because, gosh, that 3-4 defense was not working at all. Also, Matt Lubick, former wide receiver coach, has been promoted to offensive coordinator and was the OC in the bowl game against TCU. So I think he'll do just fine. I think he'll even do better than Scott Frost did. So I think that was a good move by Mark Helfrich. And then the new QB coach, David Yost from Washington State. I think he will develop Dakota Prukop and Travis Johnson so he won't have to get any more FCS transfers. So we'll see how he does this year. Hopefully he lives up to the expectations. If I'm going to be doing each position and my analysis for each. And first, at quarterback, you got Dakota Prukop, which I think will be the starter, and the backup, Travis Johnson. Dakota Prukop is a better dual threat quarterback than Vernon Adams was last year. He threw for around 3,000 yards and had 800 yards rushing last year at Montana State. I think he can be a potential Heisman sleeper. We'll see how he does this year. He just needs to learn the playbook, but I think he's a great quarterback. And if he, goes down or something, Travis Johnson will be there to pick up the spot, which I think he's a good quarterback, dual threat, 4-star out of high school. So I think that position's good. And at running back, we return Royce Freeman, Taj Griffin, Kenai Benoit, and Tony Brooks James this year, which I think we have or Oregon has the best backfield in the country. Royce Freeman's a potential Heisman winner, and Taj Griffin's a fabulous running back. And then Tony Brooks James and Kenai Benoit are really good too. So very deep and very talented this year. So definitely should be getting good production out of those four guys. And then at wide receiver, we got just a plethora of skilled players this year. It started off with the starters will be Dwayne Stanford, who's just a monster. At 6'5", he can go up and get the ball. And then at slot/taser or whatever, Charles Nelson, he's super quick, great athlete. So he should have a big year this year from, coming from DB to wide receiver. And then Darren Carrington, who finally will get to play a full season this year. I think he's one of the best wide receivers in college football, can get over 1,000 yards this year. We'll see. And then some other notable wide receivers that will play this year. Devin Allen, the track star, will be trying to compete in the Olympics this year, but we'll see what he does. Hopefully he'll come back to play football because he's fast and can catch it well. And then Dylan Mitchell, the freshman 4-star, had a huge spring game, and we're hoping that he lives up to the expectations. So we'll see. And then Jalen Brown, a junior, hasn't played that much the last couple of years, but I think his production will, increase this year. He's a good target, solid target. And then Alex Ofidal, a redshirt freshman or sophomore, I forget. He's a talented young wide receiver. He's, 6'2", 6'3". He's a bigger wide receiver. He can go up and get the ball. You'll see his playtime rise this year also. And then Tristan Wallace, incoming freshman. He's a freak athlete. And at 6'4" and can run super fast, he's just gonna be a nightmare in the future. But he will get to see the field this year also. So wide receiver is definitely loaded this year, one of the best groups in the country. And then at tight end, you have Pharaoh Brown coming back this year, who was an All American last year before he got hurt. And then you have Evan Bayless, who was a starter this past year since Pharaoh Brown was down. Great target and big and can block, so he's good too. And Johnny Mundit, um, the backup last year, we'll get to see some playing time. He can block, catch, he does it all. So really deep and talented this year, also at tight end. And then the O line at left tackle will be Tyrell Crosby, who I think is one of the best tackles in college football. Super underrated. And moving from right tackle to left tackle, I think he'll be fine. Great player. And then left guard, Evan Voller, senior, has a pretty good amount of experience. This is probably his first year starting, so he should be good this year. And then at center, Jake Hansen, who's only a redshirt freshman, but has been told, or I've heard that the coaches really like him, and that he will definitely get to start this year. And then at right guard, Cameron Hunt, I think this is his third or fourth year starting. Experienced player. He can do it all. He's good in run blocking, pass blocking. So got a really good anchor on the offensive line. So and then at right tackle, Zach Morgan, transfer from Dayton. Experienced. He was an all-conference player at Dayton, and I think he just arrived at Oregon, so we'll see how he does. But I think he'll get the starting job. So he'll be a good, experienced right tackle this year for the Ducks. And then moving on to the defense, D line. So switching to a 4-3 this year, I'll take a look at the four starters and tell you why I think they'll start. At defensive end, weak side, to Rodney Prevost. Didn't get to play that much last year, but he will see his playtime skyrocket this year because he's one of the leaders on this defense. And he's very athletic and has been gaining some weight, so we'll see if he can keep that athleticism. So very good defensive end. And then a D tackle, Kenton Kamatule, a sophomore, I think. Yeah, sophomore. Was a former 5-star recruit and just was injured last year and didn't have any experience. So I think he's going to gain a lot of experience this year. He's super talented. And I think he can potentially become one of the best interior defensive linemen in the country. But he'll definitely be an anchor for the Ducks next year. And then at nose tackle, Austin Malota, who didn't get to play that much last year, but this year I think he'll see his play time also go up. And he's also a good run defender and can clog up the middle, so a good nose tackle. And then at defensive end, strong side, Henry Mondo, who played pretty well last year and started to get really good at the end of the year with 4 sacks. So I think he can become the DeForest Buckner of this defense. He's athletic. He's got good strength. He's good in the run and the pass. So I think the D line is going to be good and talented this year. Okay, and then at linebacker, I think the starting three will be Danny Mattingly at inside linebacker. Played a little bit last year, but was injured. But he's a big, fast guy who can, is good in the run. And another inside linebacker, AJ Hoskins, the JUCO transfer, the number one inside linebacker in the JUCO class, and was a JUCO All-American. If you haven't seen this dude's huddle, You have to. He's a beast. He just destroys running backs. He's great in the run. Can defend receivers and tight ends in the passing game. He's physical, and I think that he'll be a stud in this Oregon defense next year. And then Johnny Rogen, outside linebacker, senior, experienced player. He's fast and he's athletic. I think that his production will increase and his stats will, get better this year. I think he'll make some plays in the new 4-3 defense. And then some notable backups: Jonah Moy. Um, he's an athletic freak, 6'4", 250. We'll definitely get to see the field. And Jimmy Swain, another linebacker that will athletic. And yeah, it's a good position group this year. Then on to the secondary. At corner, Chris Cisse was injured last year and started some of the games, but he's good in coverage. And he's pretty athletic. So I think with the defensive line playing better and getting more pressure and, not having the secondary to cover forever because there's no pressure, I think that will help, everyone in the secondary out a lot better. So I think he'll be making more plays this year. In the other corner, Arian Springs, he's athletic, played all last season and led the Ducks with in the secondary with like 80 tackles and had the most pass breakups and had a couple of interceptions. So I think that he will be one of the best corners in the Pac-12 this upcoming year. I think he's a breakout player candidate. He's athletic. He can cover. He's got great IQ. And I think that he will be really good for the secondary next year, or this upcoming year. And then at safety, Tyree Robinson, number 3. Started all the games last year. He's athletic and big. He's good in pass coverage also. Once again, like I said, I think if the defense causes more pressure and doesn't have the secondary just standing back there forever, having to cover guys, he'll see his stats go up also. He's a good covered guy and can help in the run support. And then other safety, Reggie Daniels, also started last year. One of the more experienced players on this Duck defense. Can play well in the run and can cover well. So, and notable backups would be Malik Levitt. He's an athletic corner. Ugo Madi, another young corner that can play well. And then Fotu Lieto at safety. Hard hitter. Looks like Troy Polamalu, so could step up this year. And Jawan Williams, one of the more experienced safeties on the team. So the secondary should be a lot better than last year. That's what I think. They're more experienced, and they're more deep and talented than they were last year. So I think the defense will be a lot better. And special teams, punter Ian Wheeler was pretty average last year. Nothing too special. And then Tanner Caro, one of the best long snappers in the country. Not much else to say. And then Aiden Schneider, first team All-American at kicker. Only missed 2 field goals last year. He's very accurate from short distance and pretty good from long distance. Something the Ducks haven't had in the last 5 to 7 years. Then starting lineup offense. Quarterback Dakota Prukop, running back Royce Freeman, wide receiver Darren Carrington, other wide receiver Dwayne Sanford, taser / slot Charles Nelson, tight end Pharaoh Brown, left tackle Tyrell Crosby, left guard Evan Voller, center Jake Hansen, right guard Cameron Hunt, right tackle Zach Morgan. Then starting lineup for defense. DN Tarodney Prevost, D tackle Canton Kamatule, D tackle Austin Malota, DN Henry Mondu, linebacker Danny Mattingly, linebacker AJ Hodgkins, linebacker Johnny Rajan, cornerback Arian Springs, cornerback Chris Cisa, excuse me, safety Tyree Robinson, safety Reggie Daniels. Then special teams, starting kicker Aiden Schneider, punter Ian Wheeler, long snapper Tanner Caro. And the schedule this year, first game is at UC Davis at home, which I think the Ducks will easily win this game by 30 or 40 points. The FCS team isn't really that good. No match for them. And then, oops, I got it messed up. Should be Virginia week 2 and Nebraska week 3. So we play Virginia at home. Again, another blowout. Not nearly as good as the Ducks. Then at Nebraska. That is definitely a trap game for the Oregon Ducks because Nebraska is a team on the rise. They have a good offense led by Tommy Armstrong and Jordan Westerkamp. So they're definitely a team to watch out for. And it's at Lincoln, so rough environment. But I still think we can pull the W out of there. And then we play Colorado at home, another easy W. Then we play at Washington State, which is also kind of a trap game. Because Washington State has a really good offense. With wide receiver Gabe Marks, Luke Falk at quarterback. Just put up so many points. So that's going to be a tough one. But I still think we can get the win. Then we play Washington at home. I honestly think Washington is the most overrated team in the Pac-12 or in the country. I don't understand why everyone has them in the top 15. Don't get me wrong, they're a talented team, but they're not that good. I think we'll still get the dub. Is at Watson, and then we play at Cal. They're a decent team. They got Demetrius Robertson, the 5-star, Melquise Duval, and they got the Texas Tech transfer Davis Webb. So they have a good offense, but the defense is terrible. So I think we'll get the win. Then we play Arizona State at home. I think that's another easy win. They lost their QB. Mike Berkovich. They lost some pretty talented guys. So I don't think they're that talented this year. Then at USC, I think this is one of our toughest games. We got to play Ronald Jones at running back, wide receiver. They got Juju Smith-Schuster, absolute stud. So, but the problem is their defense is, rebuilding. So I think that's what Oregon is going to have to just use to win that game. Use the offense against their weak defense. So I think we'll get the dub out for that game. And then Stanford, or actually at home, sorry. I think this will be the game that decides the North because Stanford is going to be talented next year. They're always talented. Even though they lose Kevin Hogan, they still bring back Michael Rector. They bring back Christian McCaffrey, which I think can win the Heisman this year. So, talented team, but I think we can get the W. And then we play at Utah. I think you playing at Utah is hard, but they also lost Travis Wilson, Devontae Booker. So I don't know how they're going to replace them. They're going to have a good defense, but their offense is going to struggle bad. So I think we can win that. And then at Oregon State, they lost Seth Collins, who decided to, leave the program. And they were terrible last year. They're going to be terrible this year. I think we can easily win against that. And I'd say if we lost this year, it would be Nebraska, USC, or Stanford. Those are the games that we could lose. So that's the schedule. And then my projections, I think we're going to go 11-1 during the regular season. Maybe losing one of those 3 games, USC, Stanford or Nebraska, then I think we will win the Pac-12 championship because there isn't a team in the South that is just super talented like the Ducks. I mean, maybe UCLA, but I think we're just the Ducks are better, and then I think they will earn a playoff spot. I don't know if it's either at the Peach Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl, but I think they will earn a playoff spot, and we will see what they do after that. So that is the end. Thank you for watching College Football Preview.